All right. It is at the top of the hour here. We are in Colorado Springs. Super excited to host this webinar, Top Ways to Boost Your Social Media Strategy in 2019. We appreciate your time. We're going to share quite a bit of information in a relatively short amount of time. Please keep in mind that 1 hour is just not long enough to, share everything there's to know about social media marketing. Would you agree with that, Jenny?
I 100% agree with that.
All right.
There's definitely lots to learn.
Yes, and also if you're in Colorado, we're actually hosting a half-day workshop in the Boulder area on next Tuesday, and I'll send out information about that. Jenny, that said, why don't you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you guys for joining us today. It's great to have you all on here to learn about our great social media and strategies towards 2019. I am a social media specialist over here at Social SEO. I've been in the digital marketing agency for about 5 years with a focus on social media. I've worked with several businesses, increased their online brand presence, lead generation, everything there is to do with social media. The latest brand that I worked with before joining the Social SEO team was Ashley Home Source, so I am super excited to share everything that I know about the social world with you guys.
Awesome, awesome. My name is Chris Ralph. I'm the founder of Boulder SEO Marketing. I used to compete against Social SEO, and we teamed up, about 3-4 years ago, so that I can speak. I speak globally now about international, multilingual digital marketing. So there we go. It has been a great partnership, and I'm super excited to do this webinar with you today.
Yes,
Jenny.
It's going to be great.
All right. Again, if you have questions, please use the chat interface, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. All right. Let's dive right in. So top ways to boost your social media strategy this year. We're going to talk about why social media marketing is a key component of a digital marketing strategy, why you have to include it in your digital marketing strategy. Why social media marketing is so important. Then, Jenny, you're going to go through the 6 steps of social media strategy, right?
Yes, I sure am.
All right, excellent. Then we're going to share some real success stories, and I hope that's going to encourage you to take social media marketing very serious this year. And then we're going to share some of our favorite tools, and then hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A. And, oh yeah, so I developed a 7-hour-long self-paced digital marketing online course. It basically, it's the recording of a 2.5-day course that I developed. So if you pay close attention, we'll have a quick quiz toward the end. So basically, I'm going to ask you something that I think Jenny's going to talk about. Yeah. So there we go, and let's get started. So social media marketing success. So if you don't do social media marketing these days, I believe that you're actually leaving money on the table. Let me show you why. This is actually a real customer example. It's a smaller e-commerce website. They were very reluctant to embrace social media marketing. We finally got them on board. We developed a strategy, basically what Jenny's going to talk about. And what you see here is a screenshot of their Google Analytics year over year. We basically, again, keep in mind that's a smaller e-commerce website. We helped them generate about $34,000 that we could track back to social media efforts in sales, compared to basically nothing the year before. So that's a great success story. Jenny, you're going to share more success stories later on.
I am.
All right. So I am an SEO guy. I mostly teach inbound digital marketing. And the three main components are SEO, content marketing, and social media marketing. Jenny, you're also going to talk about social media marketing from an outbound perspective, right?
Yes, I sure am.
Yeah, so I want to encourage our webinar attendees today, try to tackle both. Take advantage of social media marketing from an inbound perspective, but also from an outbound perspective. Again, we only have an hour, so you'll get a taste of how we do social here at the Social SEO and Bold SEO Marketing, but hopefully you'll walk away with some new knowledge. All right. A quick thing that I always stress in our classes, try to avoid this common mistake. Jenny, what would that be? Common mistake that people do?
Posting on platforms where your audiences really are not following you on.
Yeah. We all have very little time these days. Make sure focus your efforts on the platforms where your target audience is actually hanging out on. All right. So what I do recommend is that you create buyer persona profiles of all the people involved in the buying cycle of your products or services. And in my follow-up email, I'll send you guys the link to this. It's a Google template. It's sort of like a mini marketing plan, like an onboarding document. When we take on new clients, we make them fill out, it's like a 6, 7, 8 page document. Make sure, create a buyer persona profile of your target audience, write down the social media platforms that they're hanging out on. Know everything there is to know about your target audience. All right. And again, I'll send you the link in my follow-up email. So again, I'm an SEO guy. I use social for SEO, as you can see here. And if you want to do a Google search yourself, just type SEO agency Boulder into Google. You'll see at the bottom, and then check this out. It's actually position 4 in the organic search results. You'll see the LinkedIn company page for my company. So I know how to do off-page SEO, how to use social for SEO. It's a bit of an advanced strategy, but we use it to push down our competition from page number 1. Most of the clicks will go to the top 3 to 4 organic search results. That's where you need to be. And this is a great strategy to push down your competition to page number 2. All right. So this is how Google sees the bits and bytes on the web out there. It's extremely confusing for these search engines to make sense of this mess, right? There's a website, there are LinkedIn pages, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff that's on the web, these digital entities on the web out there. The better you optimize all of these social media entities, the easier you make it for Google and other search engines to understand who you are, what you sell, the keywords you want to be found for, etc. So I believe it's our duty to make it as easy as possible for these search engines to help them organize the information on the web. And if we do a good job, including with our social media marketing efforts, we will get high quality traffic to our websites and social media platforms. All right. I'm actually also going to include I wrote a guide about keyword research for SEO. I'm going to include that in our follow-up email. If you're a social marketing person at your company, make sure, ask your SEO people, hey, share our target SEO keywords with me, because you need to include those in your social media messaging and efforts, because that'll help the search engines to better make that connection between those dots. All right, so essentially we create like a list of target SEO keywords for our clients. Just ask them, hey, hand it over to me so that I can take advantage of these SEO keywords. And with that said, Jenny, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to give you control here.
Okay.
So why is social media so important?
All right. Thank you, Chris. Believe it or not, 30% of millennials say they engage with a brand on social at least once a month. I find that statistic super shocking. That's quite a lot. With that being said, that is why it's super important to give your brand that presence that it deserves online. Get your brand in front of not only these millennials, but everybody else who uses social. 73% of people follow brands on social because they're interested in the product or service. I also find that super important. Social is a great way to grow customer base or have people know more about who you are and what you do. Another statistic that I think is overpowering is 75% of people purchase something they say they've seen on social media. So we've all been scrolling through our news feeds, and we see something that either triggers our eye or it's something that we have interest with, whether it's a page that we're following or maybe a brand that we didn't even know existed yet. At the end of the day, if one additional channel can influence one purchase, it will continue to help your bottom line overall. With that being said, we'll continue on why social media is important. One of the main goals for social is we want to increase brand awareness. We want to amplify the conversation about your brand and your products or services. We want to increase content visibility. So what you are putting out on your pages, we want to get that to more and more users. We want to strengthen the brand and the customer loyalty. We want to be sure that we are putting content on our page that interests our current followers, that our audience is going to engage with. Next, we want to focus on business growth. We want to boost the web traffic through content amplification and advertising. We want to increase conversions on our site, and we want to grow our social community. So not only do we want to get content on our social pages that is of interest to our current audience, but we want to send them to our website. We want to make that interest into conversions eventually. Some other benefits of social media is we want to cast a wider net than just people visiting our website. We want to get more followers. We want to get more engagement on the social site. So like I said, we can get them to the website and convert. We want to be the digital word of mouth. We want people talking about our channels. We want people talking about our brand. So they'll tell their friends. So they'll tell their family.
Actually, Jenny, sorry to interrupt you quick. The question I often get asked is, should I buy social media followers? Have you had that question?
I have had that question, and buying social media followers could definitely be a negative. For example, we had a customer who we started working with, and they had this huge following, and come to find out they were followers from a different country. And so they were not engaging in our brand. They wanted nothing to do with our brand. And so at the end of the day, buying those followers did nothing. They did nothing for the brand.
Yeah, and it's actually against the search engine guidelines. I mean, if you think about it, don't do it. It's going to get you in trouble, right?
Sure. Another benefit is we want to stay connected with our users. So this is often done through messaging. We can set up chat bots. We want to keep that line of communication open, whether they are commenting on content that we are posting, or if they're sending us messages wanting to know more about our brand, wanting to know more about our products or services. We'd like to improve search rankings through social sharing. Again, this kind of goes hand in hand with what Chris was talking about on the SEO side of things. The more relevant content we have for our audience to share and engage with, the more it's going to help increase those search rankings on the organic side. We want to gain marketplace insights, and we ultimately want to build credibility for our brand. Alrighty. How are we going to do all of it? A social media strategy is like a business plan for your social media activities. It should be data-driven, so you're not wasting your time or money and hurting your brand image overall. This will ultimately lay out the foundation of your social media presence. This should include your current state. Where is your social media at right now? How many followers do you have? What does your optimization on your profiles look like? Is it everything filled in? Where do you want to go? Where's your future state? Where do you want your social media to be? How many followers? What do you want your profiles to look like? What do you want your content strategy to look like? We also want to take a look at what our competitors are doing. What do their profiles look like? How many followers do they have? What kind of content are they posting on? We want to touch on the content strategy. What do we want to be putting out in front of our current followers? Is it relevant to our brand? It should be. Is it going to be engaging for them? Absolutely a must. We want them to engage in our strategy. We want them to enjoy what we're putting out in front of them. We also want to look at the advertising strategy if we're going to have one. And ultimately, we want to look at our KPIs. What exactly are we going to be measuring in our social media campaigns? And that leads us into 6 basic steps for an effective social media strategy for your brand. First, we're going to evaluate where we are now. We want to perform a social audit and understand our current state. This goes back to how many followers. What does our profile look like? Where can we improve? We want to determine where we want to be. And how are we going to get there? What channels and activities are we going to use? Are we going to be on Facebook, Instagram? Are we going to use advertising? Do we have followers on Pinterest?
Actually, Jenny, when you start out with a new client, brand new, they don't have let's say it's a brand new business, or somebody hasn't done social before, do you recommend doing social advertising at the beginning, or what's a common strategy?
It depends on what the overarching goals are going to be. If we are working on just increasing our current social engagement, we would lean more towards the social management package. So we're going to be creating content. We're going to be optimizing those profiles. We're going to be figuring out which channels are going to be best for your current audience. And then should you have goals that, let's say you want to make more conversions on your website, then yes, we would lean more into the social advertising strategy as well.
Cool.
What online activities are going to get us to our goals? This means, what channels are we going to use? How are we going to implement? What tools, calendars, etc. are we going to use? Are we going to use a posting platform? Currently, we use Sprout Social, and it's amazing. It has tools to tell us which times your audience is engaging, and so you can schedule out your posts to be most relevant to when your audience is going to engage with them. And then finally, did it work? Did we get the results that we wanted throughout our social strategy? Our strategy can't only be about existence. We must fully be invested and focus on the engagement as well. All right, now we'll dive into each of the 6 steps a little bit more. Then the first one is obviously the audit. Evaluate where you are now. We want to measure the overall results. So with this said, we want to look at the number of followers we currently have. We want to look at the number of likes, shares, comments. We want to see how frequent we're posting. Do we have a posting cadence? Maybe we post Some weeks we post once, some weeks we post 7 times. We definitely want to look into that because that's going to be part of our strategy. What kind of engagement are we getting on our current content? Are we seeing positive engagement? If we're not seeing positive engagement, that's definitely something that we're going to want to look at changing. What does our reach look like? What does our clicks look like? How many times is our audience clicking to come off of the social site and get to our website where we ultimately want them to go? How are our video views? Are we getting a lot? Are we getting a lot of people watching 1 second, 3 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds? That would be great. What kind of referral traffic are we seeing? Next, we want to optimize our profiles. I cannot stress the importance of this enough. We want to make sure that our profiles are optimized to what our audience is wanting to see. We want to have the About section. We want to make sure that it is filled with as much information as we can have. We want to make sure our profile images are up to snuff. Generally, we want the logo in all of our profile images. And we'll kind of do a deep dive into that optimization as we go through this. We want to take and analyze our audience demographic and interests. We want to make sure we are targeting who is following our brand. And without doing this part of it, we're not going to know that. We want to see how many males, how many females, where they're located if you're a national or international brand. What are they interested in? What are they wanting to see from you? We want to use insight tools and Google Analytics to help do this. Facebook Insights provides so much information about your current audience and who's engaging with your page, who has liked your page. The same with Google Analytics. We want to ensure that consistent branding is across all of your channels. Many times we get clients that have maybe a profile image of a person for their Facebook, and then it might be a logo for their Twitter, and then Pinterest, they might not have any type of profile image. One thing that we highly recommend is getting all of that in sync. We want your brand to be consistent across the entire social world. So we want your logo to be generally your profile image on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on all of the social channels.
Awesome. Are we able to share the example templates?
Sure.
I think. Okay, so I'll include that in the follow-up email as well.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Alrighty. So this is a social media audit, just an example that I have put together for you guys to take a peek at. As you can see, we have all of the different social channels broken out. For Facebook, we have how many likes, how many follows we have. Is the custom URL present? Is the profile verified? Oftentimes, if a profile is not verified, people mistake it as a duplicate, and we don't want to have that. We want them to follow the verified version. Profile optimization needed. This goes back to making sure your profile images all match. Is it more deceptive about the About section? Add additional social links to the profile. Implement a more relevant keyword phrase for the company story in addition to highlighting the featured in. All of this stuff is going to tie back to keeping it consistent with your website and making sure that we're using those keywords that are on your website to help with that organic search as you're searching the company. The same goes for Twitter. We want to know how many tweets are we doing? How many followers do we have? Who are we following? How many likes? We want to recommend incorporating profile descriptions. Again, we want to make sure we have full descriptions, that all of the About sections are filled in, and that it's the same across the board.
And then I think one thing that I want to mention from an SEO standpoint is so actually these links really matter in the social media profiles. Google has teamed up with the Twitters, etc. out there. So the link that you're going to put in the social media profile, it's actually going to benefit you tremendously. So maybe link it back to another page than the home page, somewhere where somebody's going to convert, is more likely to convert right away.
Sure. And this is just an example of an optimized profile. The biggest thing here, fill your profiles to the max. You can see that we have all of our business info is filled in with our mission, when we were founded. It has our contact info. This is huge. You definitely want people to be able to find you. You want to have your phone number. You want to be able to be found on Messenger. You want to be able to have emails. Obviously, your website. If you have other social channels, definitely add them in there. The about. Make sure that that about section is filled in. The company overview. And any awards, your products and services, everything that you can possibly fill out, make sure you fill out. On the profile itself, you can see we have our logo up there. We happen to have a video as far as our cover image goes. Make sure if there's a place for something, make sure you have something in there that is relevant to your business.
And then also, again, from an SEO standpoint, I want to stress that, keep the name of your company, the address and phone number always consistent. That's also referred to as NAP. If it's consistent throughout all your web entities, you make it easier for Google to understand those digital entities out there.
Sure. All right. Now we'll go into determining where we want to be. We want to set our goals. Social media is no longer something that can be turned on and off like a light switch. Do you want to sell? Do you want to serve? Do you want to speak? Do you want to save? Make sure our goals are attainable. For example, we can't reach 100,000 likes in a month. That is really hard to do. And it's not an attainable goal. We always want to look at engagement. Currently, Facebook only shows the current content that you're posting on your page to 2 to 6% of your followers. So increasing engagement is going to be huge. We want to understand our current business challenges and set the goals around them. If we don't understand what our challenges are or where we want to go, then that's something that we definitely need to get in place before we can move any further. We want to set the goals once we know what our challenges are. We want to set the goals and how we're going to get there. We want to use the SMART method, which is specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant. Again, the 100,000 likes in a month, it's not achievable. We're not going to be able to do that. I don't think anybody's able to do that. Unless you buy them, and we've already touched that. Some goals to consider when you're determining where you want to go if you don't have any is increase brand awareness. Obviously, we want to get our brand out in front of anybody and everybody that we possibly can. Increase social engagement. Everybody who's following the page, we want them to engage in our content. Bring more users to the website. Oftentimes, that's our end goal. We want to drive more traffic to our website to increase conversions. We want to boost event attendance. We want to improve our ROI. And how are we going to get there? We're going to develop our strategy. We're going to research our audience. What platforms are they on? This goes back to this is the most common mistake. Oftentimes we get customers come in and they're on platforms that they maybe have 3 followers and the platform's completely irrelevant to their brand or their service. We don't want that. We want to make sure that the content is getting to the people who are going to want to follow you on the platform that they're following you on. We want to create a content strategy. This kind of goes back to the audit part. How many times are we posting? We want to decide how much are we going to post? What are the best times are we going to post? What tone of voice do we want to post in? What type of content are we going to publish? And we're going to want to develop a calendar. Oftentimes, we ask clients, how often are you posting? And they can't really tell us. We highly, highly recommend developing a calendar that will keep you in sync to what you're doing. With the calendar, we recommend posting what we call an 80-20 rule or an 80-20 strategy. 80% of the time, we're using curated content. We're sharing articles that are relevant to our brand. 20% of the time is when we're going to touch on promotions and sales that we're running. We definitely want to keep a happy medium on both of those. Evaluate how your competitors are doing on social. This means go look at your competitors' content. See what they're doing. See what their engagement looks like. How many followers do they have? Are their followers liking what they're posting? And look at their content overall. See if you like it, great. See if you can't use some of their content or use some of their content strategy. We also want to determine what metrics we're going to track. Are we going to track followers, reach, click, shares, engagement? All of those should be part of your strategy. This is an example of a content calendar that we would use. As you can see, we have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Each platform is going to be optimized differently. For example, Twitter, we're going to have a few hashtags that are relevant to the content. Instagram, that's going to be more hashtag heavy because you can have up to 30 hashtags on the post. Facebook, you can have a couple hashtags, but each platform is going to definitely be optimized per platform so it renders properly, and it's obviously going to engage the audience that we're going to be wanting to post to. Should your strategy include advertising? Like Google, Facebook is paid to play. Content is not the end all be all to your social strategy. In Q2 of 2018, the top 20,000 Facebook pages were publishing an average of 135 posts per month, which amounts to just over 4 per day. However, engagement has dropped more than 50% over the last 18 months. So while we're posting more, we're seeing less and less engagement. This is just an example of the digital marketing funnel that we focus on and kind of shows us the customer journey overall. The top of the funnel, the middle of the funnel, and then the bottom of the funnel. We have the awareness, consideration, and then ultimately the conversion. The minimum spend per day is $5 for advertising and then $1 per day for boosted posts. We want to start small when we're advertising, and we can always increase that once we figure out how our followers are reacting to the ads that we're placing. The most cost-effective and higher performing platform is Facebook out of all of the channels. So as we do our strategy for the advertising, we want to figure out where in the funnel we want to put focus. Do we want to do brand awareness, and then we need to push them down to the intent and the decision? And then once we have that part of it, we're going to push them down to the final conversion. With Facebook advertising, we can do this in the 3 different steps. We just need to figure out in our strategy where we want to start and then how to end it.
And I think something worth mentioning is that, don't always go for the kill right away. So my wife, we just started a health and wellness company, and she writes amazing blog posts from, we went to Iceland to run the Reykjavik Marathon. She ran a ultra marathon. She writes really inspiring stuff, and we actually promote the post, about these blog posts. Man, people are loving it.
Sure.
And then, when the time is right, we can advertise an upcoming event. So that is working really well in that space, at least.
Sure. Yep. And ultimately, depending on what your final goal is going to depend on where we start. Maybe you're a brand new business and we need to start with the awareness. That's going to come with our 30, 60, 90-day strategy. First, we need to increase that awareness, And then we need to move down to the middle of the funnel. Now that they know about you, we want them to start making that decision. That's when they're going to start the research. They're going to start figuring out maybe we're getting closer to buy. And then we're going to, like you said, go in for the kill with the more aggressive bottom of the funnel conversion.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the most important slides.
Sure.
People are so delusional about social media. I mean, it does take time. It includes content marketing, all that stuff. So really, it is a process. So you have to work on this process and, be a little bit patient to get to the ultimate goal.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Next, I just have a few different examples of some social media ads. This first one is an Instagram ad. It has the Shop Now feature on it. This one is going to be a paid Twitter ad that has the follow call out on it. So it's obviously delivered to somebody who is not currently following you. If you have a brand awareness where you want to gain some more followers. This one is going to be a LinkedIn ad, paid sponsored ad. Again, this one is getting the brand out there, requesting to follow. And then we have a Facebook carousel ad that is also not asking for any page likes, but it's asking to get directions to a local business. So this one's going to be a little bit different, not sending it necessarily to a website, but it's actually sending you to the local store that is right down the road from you. So there's definitely different targeting. There's different types of ads we can do. There's carousels, there's videos, there's collection ads, there's canvas ads, there's slideshow ads, there's still images ads. There's just so many that you can do on all of the different platforms.
It's overwhelming. I guess it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. Yeah. It can definitely be overwhelming. All right. So what online activities are going to get us to our end goals? What tactics are we going to use? We're going to post to Twitter 4 times per day. We're going to post to Facebook once per day. We're going to post to Instagram twice per day. And how much ad spend budget do I have available? These are all questions that you need to ask yourself. The posting best practices. There are so many tools out there, starting with Facebook Insights, that will show you where and when is engaging. So, for example, on Facebook, we can see that in the middle of the day, around lunchtime, towards early afternoon, our audience is engaging the heaviest. That's the highest engagement. So what you're going to want to do is post your posts, let's see, Tuesday to Friday during the lunchtime hours. The photo on the right will show, that's a graph from Facebook Insights. That's going to show you exactly what your audience is doing. So you can see again, the 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., 9 p.m., you're going to have high engagement rates. So that's when you're going to want to post. The same graph is for Instagram. It just shows you, early afternoon is a high engagement time to post. And here's a couple examples for Twitter and LinkedIn. This is the kind of information that you're going to want to move forward with as far as your content strategy. How do we implement this? We want to come up with an action plan. Who in the organization is going to implement the plan? What are your process going to be for the implementation? Are you going to have a content calendar? I highly recommend you do. Are you going to use a content management tool? How are you going to respond to social users? And are you going to use an ads management tool? All of these are great questions and need to have answers before you can pull the trigger and start implementing. It's super important to have the content calendar. I cannot stress that enough. It's going to help with your organization, and it's going to help you stay in alignment to that 80-20 rule and know what you're posting when you're posting it. Another huge thing is, how are you going to respond to your social users? Once you start this strategy, you're going to get feedback, whether it's via comments or via messages. You want to make sure you are responding to those and you're responding to them in a timely manner. Did you get the results that you wanted? Now that you've launched, we can see how great it's actually working. Are your analytics properly installed? You definitely want to have your tracking. If you're doing advertising, you want to have that Facebook pixel on your website so you can track your progress, so you can track how much is our social initiative really helping our website. Do we have the right metrics in place to measure success? Is your social media audience doing what you want them to do? Are they actually converting? Are we seeing more engagement? Are we seeing more followers? Are they loving what we're putting out there? Is there a process for reporting results? I cannot stress enough how important it is to stay on top of your KPIs. There's no sense in putting together a strategy and implementing the strategy if we're not measuring anything. What social platforms are providing the most success for you? Maybe after testing, we decided Twitter isn't so great. So if it's not so great, maybe we put that to the side and focus on which channels are really providing the success to us. All right, now we'll jump into a success story. This is a small e-commerce brand that came to us and they wanted to increase traffic. They wanted to increase assisted conversions. They came to us just after rebranding. They did not implement a rebranding strategy at all, and they saw a large drop in traffic and conversions from all channels, which is going to happen. After a thought-out strategy was implemented, in the first 6 months, we've seen an increase in users by 546%. We saw total Facebook fans, or total social fans, total social fans increased by 2,466, which was a 410% increase. Our total number of engagements increased by over 3,000%. That is huge. The total impressions increased by 2,200%. On the website side, our total conversions increased by 464%. That is amazing. The conversion value, the dollar that we are seeing come in from this, 517% increase.
Sorry, I have a question. Where did you get this data from? Looks like analytics on top, and then what do we see on the left side here?
So on the left-hand side, telling us about the total fans, total engagements, we pulled that out of Sprout Social, which is our social media tracking platform. And then, like Chris said, the top is data out of our Google Analytics.
Great.
Yeah. So this just kind of shows the importance of how social media can help increase your bottom line.
All right, and that was like a quick introduction to the 6-step strategy.
Yes, yeah, that was very quick.
I hope your head is not spinning. I'm going to quickly talk about tools. So I'm as not handy as a man can be, yet my wife still asks me to fix stuff. And at least if you have the tools, you can address things. I may not do a good job, but the more tools you have available, the better. At least you'll be able to pick the right tools to deal with the issue. Same thing with digital marketing and social media marketing in general. All right. Digital marketing I guess it's getting more and more complex, and tools are just like the weapons in our arsenal that we need to have to be successful, right?
Sure.
So I do recommend that if you work in a larger company, use Google Docs to draft your messages. We put in this template automatic count of the characters because these different social media platforms allow for different lengths of characters. Plug in the URL, and then with this particular client, actually that's one of my examples. But when we develop the content, we highlight the messages in gray, we send an email and say, hey, dear client, please take a look at the messages, highlight them in blue, and then when we publish the content, we highlight it in green so everybody knows what's going on. Works extremely well. We do this on a weekly basis, so we always have fresh, relevant content. So Google Docs works amazingly well. Then, oh man, Boss Sumo in Google Trends. Jenny, what is Boss Sumo all about? It's definitely one of my favorite tools. You can see what's trending. Just plug in a keyword, there, big data, click on search, and this tool will show you how many people are sharing the stuff on social media, on LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. Great tool.
And it just helps find content that's most shared on social media channels.
Yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And it also helps with key influencers as well.
Absolutely. Google Trends is another great insights tool. Everybody talks about big data, but this stuff is small data, and this is what you need, in my opinion.
Sure.
All right. Then Hashtagify. The world is going Hashtagify, hashtag crazy. Great tool, even with the free version. You get a ton of insights about what hashtags are being used, what's trending, etc. Take advantage of these free tools, the free versions, and upgrade if you have to.
Sure.
Then one of my favorite tools, it's not that well known, it's called inbound.li. Content curation tool. Basically, you just plug in the topic that you would like to share content about, in this case, social media marketing. You have all kinds of filters. Then this tool will return content, third-party content that you could share with your audience out there. Again, Jenny spoke about the rule, X amount, of content should be about yourself, X amount of content should be third party. Keep that in mind. That's a great way to find great content. Then one of my also favorite tools is called snip.ly. As you can see here, that's a screenshot of the interface. Basically what this tool allows you to do, it allows you to create an overlay over a third-party piece of content. This way, I can create a call to action and drive content back to my website, even though I'm promoting third-party content. Works extremely well. Not every website allows you to create this overlay, but this is definitely a tool that I would recommend you check out. And then, we spoke about measuring, monitoring, and adjusting. Definitely take advantage of Google Analytics. We have to track what's working for our clients. They hold us accountable for the money that they spend with us. So we want to show them, hey, we got you X amount of money because of our social media marketing efforts, right? All of these tools, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, they all have insights tools. Take advantage of this free information.
Yep.
With that said, why don't we quick do the quiz?
Okay.
So if you'd like to win that the online training, let's do what percentage of people that say they bought something through social, they saw it on social media. That was one of the earlier slides. Just type it into the chat, and we have a winner. Oh, first guest. If you want to send me an email to Chris at Boulder SEO Marketing, So it was 75%. Shoot me an email to Chris at Boulder SEO Marketing, and I'll get you set up. Just send me your email address, name, etc.
That was quite good job, guys.
Yes, well done, well done. Jeannie, we have an offer, right?
Absolutely. So we are a Sprout Social agency partner, and if you would like to get a 30-day trial, a free 30-day trial with Sprout Social, just shoot me an email and I will get you in contact with them. Again, this is a great tool. This is what we use. They have great reporting. We use it as a scheduling assistant. We use it as we use it to respond. There's so many different tools within it that help on the content strategy part of this. That if you're not using something like it or Sprout Social, I highly recommend it. So
yeah, it's a great tool. All right, awesome. We do have 10 minutes, so please send us your questions. Just throw them into the chat box. Why don't we, let's see, what is the best Facebook ad type from a creative standpoint? Carousel, single image, video, canvas. I mean, is there a best or does it depend?
Ultimately, it depends. With Facebook advertising, it needs testing. Audiences need testing, as do the type of ads. Typically, I find that videos work great. Slideshows really work well. Again, carousels, if you have products, if you have a product line, and you have different products within that, a carousel would be great for that, just to kind of feature the different products within that product line. Single images work as well. Ultimately, it just depends on what you're looking to do.
Awesome. Then a question, so I've been told two different things regarding website ranking on Google. Basically, what's better, like short description, long description, or should you write for humans or the search engines? So here's my take. I mean, this could be a long answer, but these social media platforms and search engines, they're getting smarter and smarter. Do not write simply to please those engines. Be sincere, always have your end customer, your prospect in mind. I don't want to read crap, so to say, that is meant for a bot. I would say, if it's working now, it probably will not in the near future. So do not write for the search engines or to please a bot. Always have your end customer in mind. That's my take. Let's see. Is it smart to post content in Facebook Messenger or keep it for personal interactions and questions? So direct messaging.
So when we're on the advertising side, we use Messenger as a placement as we see fit. As far as content goes on Messenger, I don't really recommend it. I say keep it on your pages because that's where you're going to get the most engagement with. If you have your audience commenting on the post within your page, definitely reach out to them. Don't let comments go unanswered on the page, but I would recommend keeping that messaging open to people who need to have open dialogue with you.
Awesome. So we recently launched a video department, right? Mm-hmm. We're doing a lot of videos lately. One person is asking, what's the best way to take advantage of videos in social media messages?
I mean, video with the different channels going to the auto run, so you're scrolling through your news feed, and the videos, they automatically run. It's huge. We think video marketing is the latest and greatest thing. And so anytime you can get a 30-second, 15-second video, and it's showing who you guys are, what you guys do, or the product that you want to promote, definitely take advantage of that and get it on the social site.
Yeah. So my wife and I, we have 5 teenagers in our household. That's all they do, video, so I guess it depends who's your target audience,
Sure.
but definitely the trend is, video. That's how we consume content nowadays. A lot of questions here, so I apologize if we don't get to all the questions, but you do have our emails. Is boosting interaction via social media to potential markets, audience, a good way for brand awareness engagement, or is it less effective than general postings? Well, and I'll then hand it over to you, Jenny.
Sure.
Definitely on Facebook, as you've probably seen, if you have a company, the company posts are rarely seen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as boosted posts go, we highly recommend it just because ultimately Facebook is going to show your regular post to 2 to 6% of your entire audience. Having a boosted post strategy will help that reach go up. It's taking a post that's on your current timeline, putting some ad spend behind it. You can show that boosted post to multiple different people. You can use your page likes that you currently have. You can create a custom audience to show it to, but it's just getting that actual post that lives in your news feed in front of more people, because ultimately Facebook has kind of is holding back on who they show your post to organically. So a boosted post strategy is highly recommended.
All right. How important is an Instagram profile?
Again, it depends on who your audiences are. You want to be on the right channels. So if you have, a younger audience that's more into lifestyles, then yeah, Instagram is definitely going to be important for you. And getting that Instagram profile optimized is going to be even more important. You want it to have as much information as you can possibly have in it, and you want to get out in the Instagram world.
Awesome. Then let's see, I'm doing social media marketing for a company that is a commercial printer focusing on the event marketing. Our target audience is a huge range of different kinds of people. How can I figure out what our target audience is more specifically? Whoa. You know what? Maybe shoot Jenny an email. That may be a little bit of a longer conversation, or maybe you can share some examples.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be a bigger conversation. I don't want to cut you short on that answer by any means, but it's definitely, I would need to know more about if you're a regional, or if you have a national audience. So if you would just shoot me an email with that question, and I can touch base with you offline to just give you my recommendations.
All right, let's see. We have a lot of questions. Let's see. Oh, does it improve SEO to boost to social media with a link back to a blog post on our website? Yes, absolutely. So here's what I do personally. I set up LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn company page, but then you can create sort of like sub pages to the company page, and then I post to all of these social media platforms. I include the link back to my new blog post, and it sort of like counts as a backlink. So yes, it's working extremely well. You get a backlink from your social media profile. Then let's see, I work for a healthcare company that manages skilled nursing home facilities. Do you suggest having a page for each of our facilities, or do you suggest having one specifically for the management company?
It's a great question. I would recommend having one for each facility, and the reason I recommend that is because you can focus on local events that are going on in each facility. Posting that location relevant information is going to be engaging for your followers because they're within that region. I have a nursing home facility as a customer actually, and I just went through and created location pages on Facebook for each one of their locations for that specific purpose. So every different event that they have, I can post. It's going not only on the parent page for your brand, but it's also going on that location page.
Awesome. So we're at the top of the hour. We're going to take two more questions. I want to be respectful of everybody's time here. You mentioned using your SEO keywords on your social media posts. Should these be in hashtag format or in the body of the text? Great question. So I mix it up. So I actually will spell out, join our SEO training in Denver, and then I will do a hashtag, sometime SEO training. Mm-hmm. So I mix it up, but I always make sure included one way or another. What's your recommendation, Jenny?
I follow that same strategy, Chris. I think having a couple of the hashtags, depending on the platform, remember, because not every platform needs to be optimized with hashtags, but say for Twitter, definitely put some hashtags within your copy, and then you can add them at the end. Same goes for Instagram. A big thing is, just watch that you're not duplicating hashtags. So once you build out your hashtag strategy and you use those hashtags at the end of your Instagram post, just be sure that they're not within that Instagram copy. Just kind of watch for the duplication. But having a couple within the copy, I think is a perfect strategy.
Awesome. Last question. Do you have any tips for cadence of posting for LinkedIn? So the shelf life of a tweet is extremely short, right? Facebook a little bit longer. LinkedIn, it's the business social network. I try to post, once a day, every other day. Mm-hmm. Jenny, real quick, what's your take on that?
Yep, I agree. I would say, 3 to 4 times a week is great for LinkedIn, just because it is the business to business. So you're not looking for a lot of the lifestyle audience. You're looking for more, the business followers who are looking to do the business, the Monday through Fridays.
Yeah. Last question, then we're going to wrap it up. I'm the owner-operator of a service-type company. How do I manage the amount of time required to maintain and respond to posts? Cannot be available to reply to audience timely. We don't want to make this salesy, but, it's just the way it is. Sometimes you run a business, you wear 10,000 hats, and this is one thing you should be doing, but you don't have time. Jenny, we're open for business, right? If you need help with this, we're happy to talk to you. You have to make time. It has to be one of those things that you just fit in.
Sure.
It's probably as simple as that, right?
Sure. Yes. I can't stress the importance of keeping the responses live. If you have people commenting, if they're looking for responses, you definitely don't want to leave them hanging, because that's ultimately going to bang up your brand recognition. I mean, they're going to talk to their friends and go, well, geez, I don't get a response out of them. Or if I do get a response, it happens in a week. There's definitely tools out there to help with that. You can create chatbots for your messengers. So when they do send you a message, it's an automatic reply. You don't even see the reply unless they can't follow a path on that chatbot. So like Chris said, that's definitely something that we are able to help you out with.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your interest in this webinar. We had nearly 400 people signed up. Jenny did an awesome job.
Thank you. It was great to have you guys.
We'll send a follow-up email, and we'll hope to see you next time. Thanks so much, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.